I'm the pop-up co-host of the workshop. So I run about 6 co-working spaces in Thailand, Bangkok, Thailand, and also Marvin and the friends at 500 Stars, one of our investors. So a lot of tension and pressure today. But I think a lot of you are here because you're interested in how to build communities, what's the logic behind it, what's the how to, and also I think a lot you mentioned marketing. Is it building communities? Is it like marketing? So we may want to touch on that a little bit. And we also have a third organizer, Andra, but she's Estonian and I don't know where she is.
I don't know if that's the excuse, but yeah, we lost her. So yeah, we need to be better at this community thing. So basically, what we're gonna do is that in terms of the structure, Amarit's gonna start off by talking to you guys about Hubba and like how they build a community, so that you can understand a bit more about how co-working spaces build communities. It's a huge part of their business. So he's gonna explain to you like a good example and a bad example. And then I'm gonna go into like basically how brands build. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. Actually, am I shouting loud enough for everyone to hear? Okay, there you go. I was always told that I was very loud. So basically, I'm gonna talk about like how brands build community and what's good brand engagement and what's not so great brand engagement. And then we're gonna go into some exercises. Who here has heard of Stanford D School? Awesome. Okay, no pressure. So basically, like we're gonna use some of their workshop exercises when it comes to community building to get you to do some design thinking around who your user groups are and how to engage them, etc.
So maybe can we have quick fire 30 seconds intro about all of our participants and just real quick like what you're working on and what would you like to get out of this workshop, and maybe start with the gentleman right here. Just real quick.
Okay, I'm Jad. I'm actually here to get like some general information. I work in CSR and communication.
Gents at the back.
I'm Tariq Misto. I'm working for a startup for laboratories, virtual laboratories. And I want to get marketing things for get selling things.
Hello, I'm Josephine. I'm an assistant professor and I'm interested in learning about marketing.
Hi, I'm Ziad Saleh. I'm an engineering student. I saw you yesterday at stage A and I wanted to see what's next.
Hi, I'm George. I'm in online marketing. I came to see any added value.
Hi, similarly to him, I am in online marketing and I love to learn about new approaches and new techniques.
Good morning, I'm Serge. I'm a marketing student and I'm working as marketing executive in Poppins Cornflakes company.
Hi, I'm Tony. I'm a management consultant and I'm here to just learn something new.
Hi, I'm Hussein. I have a social enterprise startup. It's about blood donation. And I came because I saw marketing, so I'd like to know more about marketing.
Hello, I'm Nadine. We founded an NGO and it's a culture hub. So basically it's about building communities. So I'd like to feed my brain as much as possible.
Good morning, I'm Patricia. I'm a marketing consultant in the food and marketing specialty.
Good morning, I'm Leah Catherine Zainati. I'm working with a startup carpooling application for university students. So this topic is very important, building communities.
Hi, I'm Farah. I work in NGOs and basically with disadvantaged youth, and I'm just interested.
And the last three.
Hi, I'm Mariam. I work as the digital strategist at a local newspaper, and it's about communicating with our readers.
Hi, I am Joe Rantouz. I am the founder of Right Service, a digital marketing company. I am here to know what you have concerning marketing.
Marvin's just here to give us pressure. So Hubba started, so just to recap before the story of Hubba, I think a lot of you are into 3 main groups. So a lot of people are very interested in the digital marketing and all that space. And then there's a few folks that are just sort of here to open your eyes. And then lastly, a few folks are already building communities offline and online and are interested in that sphere. So the way that I approach community, and I'm sure it will be slightly different from General Assembly in Singapore, is that we are more on the offline to online community. So we started out as just a bunch of guys who wanted to build an app, but we don't know how to start. And we essentially figured that, okay, maybe it's great that if we had this idea and we don't know how to build it, we don't know how to market it, we don't know anything about building an app, maybe we should go meet some folks, go ask for some advice, go join a community. And in about 2011 in Thailand, there was no community. The government wasn't doing anything. There was nothing online. We couldn't find a meetup. Literally, like, there was no meetups on meetup.com. And then what happened was we decided, okay, let's just kind of go out there and do it. What may be of interest to everyone here in the room is that despite that we thought that co-working spaces and building offline communities were so amazing that we had 5,000 followers even before we launched, the moment we opened the doors to this amazingly beautiful co-working space, it doesn't look like much now in the photos, but what happened was that nobody showed up. Nobody showed up for like 2 months, and we were just sitting there, 7 of us in an office, and we're like, we built a product that everybody should love. This is like, everybody talked about co-working spaces in Europe, in the US, and why isn't it working? So just like I did just now, and I'm sure you're doing it with your own communities, is the best way is not to just trying to sit there and come up with something or just sort of wait for your customer. We just said, okay, now we think we're doing something wrong. Let's go and talk to them. And then we went to a whole bunch of events. So like literally I would go out to an event every day. I'll invite folks to come to our spaces and interview and talk to them. And soon, within like a week, I realized that something was wrong at the space. And the thing that essentially was wrong is we've built a product that nobody really wanted. And we didn't understand what the folks that we targeted in our co-working space wanted. So instead of a beautiful space, they told us that the reason that they would pay us money to work out of our space and pay the time and investment and money to drive from their house and through 2 hours of traffic, just like you spent probably, did everyone spend an hour in traffic to come here? Maybe yesterday, right? Or you live close by? Okay, you're very lucky. So a lot of you would probably spend an hour to come here. And the reason you come here is because there's value. Value beyond just eating free food and waiting 10 minutes for a Dunkin' Donuts. Please don't put that on the tape, sorry. So the value for building my community was the folks there wanted to be an entrepreneur. And most of them, 50% of them were startups. Now the 50 were freelancers. And the 50 that were startups wanted to know how to build what they want to build and how to get customers, how to build a team, how to raise funding, and eventually they will say, okay, they become a company. They know what they need to do. So going from that part to the startup that raises funding, that was where we started to add value to the space. And we did loads of experiments and then tried loads of different things. And over the course of time, Hubba went from a co-working space that nobody cared about, and now we're packed and we're in 6 locations. So I think the arc of every business and every startup, every conference you go to, everything you hear in all the sessions will always be centered around understanding who your customer is, and even with communities. And the other thing that I look for you to keep in mind as the bottom line, that the way I approach and see communities is, it really isn't this thing that you just like, okay, there's 1,000 people that's following my Facebook group, and I'm gonna start selling them something. How do I get 1,000 people to just join this Facebook group. Because that's not how you think, right? That's not how all of us think. The reason we join a Facebook group or a meetup group or subscribe to an email in the first place is because we think it's valuable. It's good for us. It's something that we actually want to consume, or that we find that by being part of a co-working community, that the people sitting next to us or within our space have the knowledge, have the experience, that they're nice people, that we want to be friends with them, and we don't know whether we're going to do business with them, but that by being connected to them, our business are better off. So I like you to keep in mind that the common line, the base of a community is basically maybe you and the folks beside you having a great conversation, exchanging name cards, going out for coffee, becoming friends, and saying, okay, I really like you, I want to help you out. You know, you really like me, I want to date you, or something like that. So if you always keep that in mind, you'll always know what you need to do for your community. So I think Aziza has her own story, so I'm going to give it to her to...
That's Andres, we're going to skip it. So basically, what I'm going to start off with is by telling you guys a bit more about how other brands build communities, and then going into how at GA we build our community, right? So if you look at communities, they can happen within your organization, externally, online, and offline. So if you look at some great examples of how companies build communities within their organizations, that would be people like Google and Pixar. So for example, what Google realized was that the number of people that each person is connected to affects whether they're going to sometimes leave or not. So for example, like if you are connected to more people within the company, if you have more internal networks, you're less likely to sort of leave the company. So what they did was that, you know, in some of their cafeterias, etc., they did user experience design and user experience like research to do the layouts, and they also like, you know, did a lot of like other initiatives to make sure that like people were cross-collaborating and people were meeting each other. And if you look at Pixar, they do these things called creative, whoa, that was a lot of people. Welcome, guys. Are you guys, are you guys all from like a university or something? Oh, okay. Cool.
So basically there was a bus, and then it dropped you guys all off. So thank you.
And just to confirm, all of you guys are here for Building Communities Workshop, right? Guys, quick question. Which session are you guys here for? Okay. So what I would suggest is that look at your agenda. There are like 4 things going on at the same time. What we're doing here is a smaller workshop called Building Communities. So if you want to learn how to build communities, you stay on over here. If you want to go hear some like VCs talk, you go over to like that really huge stage over there. If you want to hear early stage startups pitch, go over to stage B. If you guys want to leave right now, that's totally cool. I understand if you're in the wrong room. So yeah, where was I? Internal communities. And we also like have things like external communities, right? And when you build a community, the first thing to really know is to why you're building it, okay? And the second thing is to like have a product or a cause that's worth building a community around, because nobody wants to follow things that are crappy. And the third thing is to find out where your people are. So to give you like 2 polarizing examples of how different brands have done that, one is where, I'm not going to tell you like which brand it is, but basically it's a brand of body wash, okay? So one of my friends, he works in a digital agency, and this brand of body wash was one of their clients. So this brand of body wash came up to them and they were like, oh, you know, in Greater China, we are the leading brand of body wash among women of like a certain affluence. We're known as like the slightly more premium luxury product. And then what they wanted to do was that they were like, oh, what we need is an online community. We want to like create a separate portal where all of our fans, all the women who use a body wash, can come in here and, you know, chat about things. And they were like, oh, you know, and what the kind of women like who use our products are interested in is like, you know, makeup, hair, etc. So first things first, they didn't really actually do proper user research. And then what happened was that they built up this like huge online platform, and they started populating with content. And pretty soon, it kind of felt like a ghost town. So what happened there was that they were trying to force this online community to a user base that didn't really need it. Because the kind of women who are using their products, if they were interested in all these different verticals that this company was sort of thinking that they were interested in the content for, they were already engaging it in like other platforms. So they were already watching YouTube videos of like Michelle Pan, or like, if they were interested in like finance, they were already like reading up other blogs. If they were interested in other things, they were going to other places, and they were on Facebook, etc. Right? So that failed miserably. Another example of somebody who does community really well, especially online communities, is Lego. So Lego, what they do is that, if you guys have noticed, if you go on the website, if you go on the internet, you could basically like see that there are like hundreds of different Lego user groups. These are all fan groups. Lego doesn't actually build them. So you've got like, people who devote their entire lives to building like, not their entire lives, but probably like a lot of their free time, to building like Lego architecture products. You've got people whose passion is to build Lego Mindstorms. So what Lego did was that instead of like forcing everyone to like, oh, you need to come to my platform, what they did was that they created like a platform which basically pulled in all these other different things and sort of like acted as, a guide. So you go over there, and then you can like click through to different Lego user platforms. And it was really, really helpful. So when they were doing their new Mindstorms launch, their product launch and their product development, what they did was that instead of going through a traditional ad agency model, or like going through a traditional like, where you find consumer focus groups and then you do all these different things, they went straight to the Mindstorms user group, and they were like, what do you guys like? So they found the people who are going to be the most valuable in terms of providing them feedback. That's a great example of a good online community. So at General Assembly, what we do is that we offer courses in things like web development, user experience design, data sciences, etc. And the other thing that we do is that we do a lot of events and fireside chats, and the aim of it all is to build a community of learners, is to create an open, free space where people feel comfortable coming in, wanting to learn new things, where they're not so scared anymore. They're open to saying, oh, I kind of want to try this out, but I'm not sure if I want to try this out or not. It's going to be a career change. And they come into these events and they meet other people who are like them. And that sort of just builds this community. And even people who graduate from our courses, they keep coming back for our events, etc. And the other thing that I should probably leave you guys with before we go into the exercises is that community is not just fluff. A lot of people seem to think that, oh, community managers just do like your social media management. They just like post up nice like Twitter GIFs and cat pictures, etc. Or like they just do these like fluffy events. That's actually not true, because building a great community can actually build your product. It can build your sales. Great examples of that is the gaming community. Who here is a gamer? Does anyone play like online games, video games? Okay, no problem. Oh, look, there are a few right at the back. That's awesome. So gaming communities, especially like these like virtual online games, they're super strong. So when you look at things like World of Warcraft or even like Minecraft, etc., they're all built around communities. And when you look at things like Farmville and stuff, the reason why people kept coming back is because within this community, they got to like chat with other people, they got to trade with other people, and that actually meant that like instead of like being like a single person coming in and playing, it just became this like community of people. It's where like people would come back and play the game just because they knew like virtually other people who were playing it. So now what we're gonna do is some design thinking exercises that we found from D School, and I'll leave it up to Amarit right now. And I'll like do stuff.
Okay, guys. I guess we're just going. We initially thought there was gonna be like 20 of you, so now there's like 200 of you. Okay. So we need you to come up with groups of, let's say, 6. Just group around folks that are close by. 6. So find a group of 6 right now. All right. Okay, are you about to bounce? Okay, cool. All right, let's do this. Come on, let's go. Groups of 6. Okay, just sit around in a circle and say your hellos. Give your 5-second introductions. All right, I give you 1 more minute to introduce yourself to the group. All right, let's go. All right. Just please introduce yourself. You've got 30 seconds. All right, I'll give you 10 more seconds to introduce yourself. Okay, so I'll give you another 30 seconds, but I'll shut up. All right, okay, go. Introduce yourselves, go. Okay, guys, so while you're introducing yourselves, before we interview the community, I want one of the folks in the team, to come up with a community idea that you like to build. Like, you want to build this community, and then pick one community that you like to work on. Yeah, so let's say you like to build a community around gamers. You like to build a community around people that sells handcraft e-commerce online. You like to build a co-working space or an NGO community. Mothers that code. What sort of community? Come up with a community you like to build.
You would have to, okay, so at this point, you would just have to come up with an idea for a community that you want to build. So we'll go into the planning stages later. So we'll like take you through the workshop. So for example, you guys are all here at the conference, right? Now the conference happens once a year, okay? So you guys are here meeting this great group of, oh sure. So you guys are here meeting this great group of entrepreneurs and marketers and people who want to join startups, who want to work for startups, people who work for not-for-profits, who run great not-for-profits, etc. Now, you're like meeting them once a year at this conference, right? Now, within this huge conference, there are going to be many of you who are like clustered around different interest groups. For example, one of you guys might want to start something around, not-for-profits. Like it could be a community group that's an action group for like, coming together every month and like sharing the innovations that's happening around, social enterprises, etc. Some of you guys could decide that you want to do something on women in technology or women in startups or female founders, etc. Think about what you might want to engage with on a regular basis. How many of you guys are students? Awesome. Everyone who walked in nearly. Okay. So, it could be things that you want to build within your campus. So, for example, like you guys probably have other student groups, etc., right? For example, if you're going to like start a new community, what do you want it to be around? And the way you think about what you want to build around is to think about, what are your values? What are you here for at this conference? What are your interests? And what do you think people will want to sort of invest their time into like being a part of your community? So you can come up with like a few ideas, run them through the group, and then you guys could pick anything. So for example, like, some of the communities that are there in Singapore, like, you could have developer communities. You could have like a JavaScript meetup group. You could have a Ruby on Rails group. You could have something like female founders. You could have something like women in technology, or you could have digital marketing groups, or you could have something on like mobile commerce, etc. So it's really up to you guys.
Okay, we give you 30 seconds to pick one community you want to work with in the group, okay? 30 seconds, let's go. Okay, guys. So which team has a community that they want to build? All right. So can that leader of that idea, that community, raise their hand and share with us? All right. One leader per team.
Hi, our community is about people who want to learn about web design and everything related to online marketing.
All right, ladies.
Okay, we choose the NGO of that protect the women's rights.
A community of people interested in protecting women's rights. Okay, good. All right. Oh, okay. Next.
A community for fighting for women rights against violence.
By the way, it can be any kind of community. It could be like people that love chocolate. It could be investor community. It could be anything, okay? It doesn't have to be very serious.
Okay, we are building a community on creating awareness and engagement on sustainability.
Okay. People love sustainability. All right, thank you. And we have a new group that just showed up. So they need to catch up with homework. All right. Sure. Oh, we forgot you. I thought you guys like skipped. Like I don't have a community.
We didn't have actually a community. We were just making up one. Yes. Okay. So the community we're going to build, it's about having banks for the umbilical cord stem cells for everyone. Like every new baby can have their umbilical cord in a bank, where whenever they have any problem or issue or kind of health problem, they can use the umbilical cord and build stem cells.
So community of people interested in stem cells and umbilical cords. All right, thank you. Woo! Right, the best way to start with communities is not to think like, I want to own this community and I want to build this and people are just gonna come and join me because I'm so cool and amazing. So I think the best way is, right now there's one person who raised up and pitched their idea, right? Pitched their community. I want to build this community. Now I want everyone on the team to think like you are a person that is interested in that idea, or that you're probably a person that might want to potentially be part of that community. Please give him or her some insights of why you may be interested to join, why not, and if you were interested, what would make you feel that that community is valuable? You know, what would make you want to show up every month, once a month or once a week, to be meeting these people at this community? What would the community be like that if there was a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group that you wouldn't actually just delete it? Or if you were getting an email from that community every month, that you wouldn't unsubscribe it because you think it was spam? Please give those community leaders that pitched some insights about the community they're trying to build. So let's do that for 3 minutes. Let's start now. Let's go. So your community leader's gone, but you can continue or have a new idea. Okay, go for it. Trying to find out the pains of the people within the community. So community leaders, the person with the idea, find out what's the problem, what's troubling the people within your community. What are the things that aren't solved that actually people would want to meet up, would actually want to join your email, would actually want to read your website, that your community can solve. The other thing will be the gains. What would things that people would like to have in the community that make them attracted to it? What are the cool things that they wish that the community had, but they couldn't find it anywhere else?
Okay, guys. Next step, Now that you've finished interviewing your community, you know what the community you want to build is, you finished like interviewing the people in your group, think about what are the current solutions that are out there for this right now. So for example, you guys wanted to build a community of donors, right? So what are the other solutions that there are right now? It can be online, it can be offline, list them all out. Okay? You guys have about 60 seconds to do that. So you need to do it really quick. Start right now. So for you, you need to list like what are the other gaming communities out there, etc. Okay, guys, time's up for that part. Okay, you should have listed down some of the other current solutions that are out there. Okay, next step, we want you to design your version 1.0 of your community. Okay, now you guys have figured out what's the thing that you want to build, why you want to build it, what's the kind of problems that you're trying to solve. You've looked at, you've interviewed your community, you've looked at what are the other current solutions that are out there. Now start designing your version 1.0 based on this. So how will your community look like? Who are the members of it? Are you guys going to be meeting up every month? Is it going to be online, offline? What kind of channels are you going to be using for this? You guys have 2 minutes for that. Really quick. And then you guys have to present your version 1.0.
Okay, guys, I think we're going to have to wrap it up because we have the next session coming up. So I hope you understand that the power of building community, step one, the most important thing is always understanding who the community is and what their needs and pains are. Customer interview is actually a superpower of startup founders and community builders. And now maybe we just want to have you share some insights. So we got 4 groups left, and let's have the group to the right say a little bit about how they like to build their community moving forward. And do you have some insights of how you like to build a community based on your feedback? Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll give you 20, and then you can do it from where you're standing.
Hello, everyone. So basically, the aim was to build a community that is sharing and informing people and raising awareness about cultures. So basically, we created an online and offline system where we're actually creating blogs that are sharing culture about sharing information about different culture, while doing activities on the grounds, events that are actually promoting the culture of each, promoting the culture of each country. So through food, through music and things like this, a rotating event that will be once a month or twice a month, depending on the cities that we're going to be choosing, and rotating all over Lebanon so people have the chance to actually be well introduced to each culture. Done? Thank you.
So next group. So as you noticed, the community is around sharing culture, but the technique or the tools they're using is rotating events and a blog. So we want to emphasize that community is not about, I have a blog, so I have a community. The blog and the events is a tool to build that community. So next up.
Hello. As I told you, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, so we're trying to build a community of blood donors in Lebanon, and how we are going to do so is through first starting campaigning, like online campaigning through social media. We're going to grow this, if you may call it, the fan or customer base online. Then we're going to introduce an app or an online recruitment mechanism that is with the Red Cross, because the Red Cross is a credible entity in Lebanon. Everyone trusts the Red Cross. And then we're going to have offline community building through universities and schools, and with the help of student clubs and scouts. So going to assign ambassadors, for example, in each university through certain clubs, and we're going to work with scouts in different areas to share the news. And we're going to use the radio and some ads to show success stories. I'm going to use, for example, Twitter, we can share success stories for patients who benefited from the system so that people can, like, this is part of the ongoing awareness campaign. And I think that's it. Going to, inshallah, solve the problem. Thank you.
So as you can see from the insights from this group is that the content is not like, I need more blood. It's like, donating blood is good. And let's get one, influencer marketing, brand ambassadors, people that already have a network of followers. Can we tap into them? Two, is that going to hubs where a lot of young people that might be interested in donating blood are already there. So going to the universities. And then, of course, using social media to amplify those content. It's always about the content and the value that the listener gets from being part of the community. Twitter or Facebook or everything else is just a channel. It's a tool. So good insight. So any insights from the back?
So hi everyone. Our community is about building, our community is about helping people who want to grow online, who want to establish their businesses and to promote their businesses online. So we want to teach them what are the tools, the best practices, what you can do using a website, using a blog, using social media. So our community is about an online platform and an offline platform where we develop workshops, for example, monthly workshops, where we can guide all the people who wants to start their businesses or grow their businesses with a detailed workshop. And all the information is also diffused through our online platform, the blog, and the forums related to that community.
Thank you. The last one. So the same idea, content marketing based on what your community is interested to learn and know. So if you can see that theme emergent in all our conversations, it's because it is the best and the way that we should build community. So you have a question? Go, please go.
How important from your experience is it to link online and offline to give credibility to a community? And do you want to bring people to your platform, or do you want to use social media to make your community well known, more known?
So I have some quick answers to that, and Aziza may have more. One is that a lot of times communities, if they're always only online, the way that you can sustain it can go only so far. Because sometimes, you know, if you're saying, let's create a Facebook group, they're already signed up to another 100 Facebook groups. You have a fan page, you have to pay for them to see your feed. And even then, sometimes people, especially, let's say in the case of Asia, they would be interested to follow you or become a fan if they know you. So then you need to get to know who your community are. And the best way to know a person is to meet them face to face, have a coffee with them, shake hands with them. Sometimes offline to offline, and the way we say growth hacking or to grow in certain businesses, let's say like a co-working space, is not to grow to 500,000 followers and then I am going to fill 100 seats. It's actually go handshaking, not growth hacking. I just go to my own co-working space, and then I just go and say hello, and I shake their hands, say thank you for coming. How are you doing? What's your business? And that, in a sense, is actually more valuable than all the Facebook ads I'll be buying. And then you have a second question about. Okay. I think this is very clear that you should always think about building your own platform. It's like going to build a house in somebody else's land. You build a Facebook fan page, Facebook gets more crowded, what ends up? You pay more money. Every time, you know, even if you have your own website, you're going to still have to spend more money because you have to market it on Twitter, on Facebook. But if you have your own EDM and everybody is subscribed to your emails, you know, that doesn't cost you anything except MailChimp. If you have your own Slack group, WhatsApp group, you know, it's cost effectiveness. So you always want to think about owning some of your own platforms. Yes, you have to use Facebook because everyone's on there. But to lower the cost down, have your own platforms as well. Lower your risk. Anything to add?
So in terms of like that, your question, right? I think the first thing is to figure out who your users are. Okay, there are some communities that are purely offline and they work pretty well as purely offline communities. There are some that are like purely online. So for example, if you take things like Reddit, Hacker News, etc., right? But their and Product Hunt, but their level of like what they want to do is pretty much like share new ideas, share new stories, and like upvote them, etc. But if you're looking at like say building a community around your movement, around your brand, around your business, an offline to online model does work. So for example, for us, we do a lot of events and we do them with a variety of partners to bring in like a wider community. So we do them with like tech partners, design partners, with not-for-profit partners, etc. And this brings in hundreds of people to us, right? And what we do is that, for example, like they can all go like our Facebook page or our Twitter account. But what you have with those platforms, like what Amarit just said, is that you don't have the greatest share of voice. Because somebody could like follow your Facebook page, but what Facebook like shows up in their newsfeed is could just be limited content. But if you have them subscribing to say your EDMs, etc., and I'm not saying like go spam people. When you do EDMs, you really need to take care of like what kind of content are you delivering, right? You need to look at like, you're not just gonna like list, oh, here are like these things, go click through and buy my products. It's about figuring out what kind of content are you gonna be doing. It's about doing a lot of content marketing. So yeah, I think that would be the thing. Figuring out who your users are and figuring out how to best engage them.
All right, we have last team and time's almost up. So thank you.
I know that the idea of our community is a bit complicated. It's about the banks for umbilical cord blood cells, stem cells. I'm sorry. Yeah. So we can spread awareness first about this really important idea because the mothers really care about the future of their children and they want the best for them, especially in health-wise. It starts with spreading awareness, especially in hospitals, because they should have a special section in the hospital only dedicated to stem cells. Because you can't always cross a long distance to transfer these the stem cells and put it into the banks. So they should have a section there. The website is really important, and sharing it online and offline is really important too. Making conferences and inviting doctors and scientists and specialists, to be more accurate, for them to give us ideas, the latest research, and how to continue and spread it worldwide, not only in one country. Thank you.
Right, so I think you get the common narrative, and I'll summarize it in my 3 points, is that everybody here understands that community is based on a group of people that have similar interests. So we are now on different groups online, and we have new friends on Twitter that are interested in the same thing, but we've never met them before. So now we want to group these people together that we can actually trade ideas, share, work together, maybe sell stuff to each other and all that. And then the only second step that usually is the most important in not only building communities, but building your own startup is the ability to interview and understand your consumer. And for that, please study design thinking as much as you can, understand user experience research and design, and do that in your own life. Every day, I would go to my co-working space and ask, how's your day? What's wrong? Are the staff treating you right? All that. All day, that's all I do. Just ask, and then you have a whole bunch of lists of things that you could improve on. And the difference between a great business and a good business is the speed in which you can understand, adapt to consumers' need, and improve on them. And how fast can you iterate? Can you improve your co-working space every day so that it gets better? I think lastly, do a lot of insights and research and understand content marketing. A lot of you are now going to build online marketing businesses, and that's really the future of digital marketing. So if you are ever in Singapore, you should go and take a class in content marketing at General Assembly. Anything to add?
Yes, and if you're ever in Thailand, go over to Hubba. They do amazing workshops on how to build co-working spaces. And, he's built a tremendous job because Amarit's like really humble, but actually like his co-working space was the very first co-working space in all of Asia to be VC funded. And they've actually taken a business model that's built around like community, etc., and turned it into an actual, real, thriving business. So yeah, And what I would suggest is that, keep in touch with like the communities that you've formed over here, and just like hashtag and like let us know how it's going. We're on Twitter. I was flashing up my Twitter account just now, but it's not there anymore. Yeah.